From the 915 to H-Town, from the Panhandle Plains to the Valley, and everywhere in between. This is the 50/50 Podcast, powered by National Scouting Report. Join me, Hector Cano, as we cover the Texas high school club and college soccer landscape, along with an inside look at the college soccer recruiting scene. The 50/50 Podcast is a platform about the people and for the people who are dedicated to the beautiful game.
And we're live here from beautiful Moody Gardens here in Galveston, Texas. It is the 2023 TASCO, Texas High School Soccer Coaches Convention. Here to help us kick off is our very own special guest from across the pond, as they say, right? Coach Adam Birchall. Coach, how are you?
Hey, Hector. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good, awesome. Thank you for being here. So, in case you don't know who Adam is, former professional player and also current, correct me on this, Coach, if I get this wrong, so the head coach for the U17 Arsenal youth team. I was about to say national team, but youth team, right? So the academy program. Tell us a little bit about that before we dive in. Just tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what has you here.
Yeah. So like you say, my name's Adam, and ex-player. I was actually at Arsenal as a young boy from the age of 10. I was at the academy. Was a young pro there during the time of the Invincibles.
Oh,
so that was a pretty cool time. Left there around 21, went off, had a professional career. Around about the age of 24, decided that I'd like to have a go at coaching. So started to do my badges in the UEFA's A and B, and then went back to Arsenal as a coach 13 years ago. Went in and did the under 8s first, then the under 9s, then under 10s, then under 12s, under 14s, under 16s, and now currently under 17s head coach and assistant under 18s.
Awesome. So total. So when you got there in your current capacity or in the academy program, how long have you been there total?
25 years.
Everything. Oh, wow. So tell us, so before we dive into that a little bit, just tell us a little bit more about, where your playing background, obviously, and then what kind of transitioned you to what made you want to be a coach? You mentioned pursuing your badges, but in making that transition from your playing career to then wanting to be a coach, what was the genesis of all that?
Yeah. So when you're a young pro in England, you start to do your badges. So it's a level 2.
Yeah.
They support you through your scholarship with that. So that was my first experience of coaching, and I enjoyed it. It was a good experience. Enjoyed doing it. Still playing professionally.
Right.
And then, like a lot of pros, it's not all rosy, as we say.
Of course not.
Yeah. It's hard having a professional career, and it's up and it's down, and my career was like that, and there were some real tough times. And when I decided to go back and start coaching, what I found really quickly was working with the young people. They brought a lot of joy to me. And I really enjoyed helping them enjoy the game and supporting them. So it really sparked something within me.
So that's when you get the bug, huh?
That's when I got the bug. The bug, proper bug.
Yeah.
And then there's times where I've done sessions for free. I've done grassroots sessions. I've done school sessions. I've tried to just throw myself into it and experience everything that coaching is, because it's become my passion. And when I retired at 30, it made a lot of sense to me to pursue that. It's all I've ever known, football. So I'm very passionate about it.
That's all. Yeah, it can be quite scary, right? When you start to think like, what else am I going to do with my life, right? It can be kind of humbling and sobering all at the same time. So I hear you. So tell us. So obviously you've been there. You're in the academy system there for Arsenal, which we all know is in the, the English Premier League. Tell us a little bit. How did you get here? What transpired and what led to you being able to be one of our guests here for the TASCO convention this year?
Yeah. So as an academy, we use Sports Session Planner, which is an online session planning platform.
Yeah.
We use it to design sessions, store sessions, share sessions as an academy. And someone from Sports Session Planner reached out to our head of coaching, and said about the convention and asked whether we could send someone over. Our head of coaching spoke to me about it, offered me opportunity, and bit his hand off. Thought it was a really brilliant opportunity to step out my comfort zone, come over, meet some new people, and see what it's all about. Yeah.
And as you know, so Sports Session Planner is one of our big sponsors here for the convention, big supporter of TASCO. And as members of TASCO, that's included in part of your membership, right? Is that being a member of the Sports Session Planners as well. So tell us your take on them, being able to use them with the academy system. How do you all use the Sports Session Planners on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I think what's really important, it feeds into sort of the plan, do, review process, right? So start of the week, we have part-time coaches. We call them casual coaches as well. So you have your full-time members of staff, your head coaches, and then your part-time coaches as well. But what it allows is, whilst the part-time coaches have their job and their day-to-day, which some of them do coaching, some of them do other things, it allows to share ideas and sessions online easily at a convenient time for everyone, to put you in a really good place to come in and discuss the session, to really iron out the detail, make sure that we're ready as staff for the session for the players. And the same thing, because it's kept on that platform, you can then review it afterwards. Keep your we've all done lots of sessions. Some you're not too keen on, some you go, that worked really well, and it gives you an opportunity to try and keep your best practice stuff as well. Which a lot of the time is a combined effort. When things work really well, it's people working together.
Now take us behind the scenes there within your program, within the academy. How are you all using, because obviously it's very functional, as you explained. How are you all using that in terms of internally? Is it, hey, when one of you all has an epiphany regarding a particular topic, you put it up right then and there and then share it with everybody, kind of thing? Or how do you guys use that?
There's a lot. I don't think we've got enough time.
Sketch notes.
There's a lot, but the important thing is it's simple. It needs to be simple, not simpler. So we basically periodize how we work. So we'll work on 2 weeks attacking, 1 week defending, and work our way. If you imagine, we call it starting the attack in our half, and you move into creating the attack and then finishing the attack. We have the same with our defending. So when we're in that 2 week block of, say, start the attack, if you talk about the 17s and 18s, what we use is stats as well to go, okay, we've been building up really well around and start the attack. Let's look at some stuff around going through. So it kind of focuses in on actually specifically what we want to work on to help the players. So once we've got that as a starting point, it's okay, well, what does individuals need within the team, to making sure they're weak, they're getting what they need, and how it relates to the topic.
Now, I imagine on some level, right, and obviously we're not going to get into detail on this, but I imagine on some level, the starting point on some of this, you're getting your marching orders from probably the senior team in terms of functionality of what they want to see, right? What you should be implementing, particularly since you are with the U17s, correct?
Correct. Yes, it's actually logical as well, right?
Correct.
So if you're
that vertical alignment piece, no doubt.
Because if you're a player playing between age groups or moving up to the next age group, that alignment's ever so important. The language ever so important. The application of that may be subjective, because we all apply it differently, right? And that's the skill of coaching, but to try and bring everyone towards the alignment, as you say, is very, very important for the players, and they're the most important people in all this for me.
Now, what would you say? What have you found from your younger age groups, right, as they transition up to you? What is maybe their biggest learning curve, right? The biggest thing that they have to overcome, whether it be technically, tactically, what have you, the pace, or if someone's playing up multiple years, obviously. What is that biggest hurdle when they come to you?
I think it's very individual, very, very individual. You can have, go through the 13, 14, 15 growth spurt, find that your coordination's all over the place. But may have a really good game insight that helps you tactically. The biggest thing I'd say, transition will be going from development football to performance football, and finding that balance for them, because still at 17, 18, there's a lot of development still, but they're getting closer.
Right.
So it's trying to teach them the importance of certain decisions, certain moments of the game that they can make different decisions that might impact the game, which hopefully in the long run, we don't want to restrict players too much, but in the long run, we'll build trust with managers and hopefully give them careers in the game.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that's a big one. The other one is also humility. When they start getting 17, 18, and if they're doing well, it's helping them understand that they still don't have a career. There's a long way to go still, and you want them to feel good and have belief and believe in themselves. You also want that hunger and that will to win, and we want to kind of build that. So those are probably the two biggest things I see. Of course, at that age, tactically, we play a positional game. So it's when they're younger, it is a little bit more free, but we need to start getting them to think about, well, what are the positional basics that you need playing this playing style? So it does go in more depth, as it should.
And what would you say is a prototypical amount of time that, at least going in, they should be with you before maybe they move on, whether it's within the system or somewhere else? How long are they typically with you, or should be with you?
Again, so individual.
Yeah.
So individual. You still have late developers at that point, that are smaller than the others, that need time to grow into their body, to build a bit of muscle mass, that stuff, that explosive power. So it is still very individual.
Awesome. So are there any particular trends that you're seeing from the youth player now as they arrive, maybe when they arrive to the academy with you, well before they get to you, or when they get to you? Are there any particular trends in today's game that you're seeing?
I think there's been a big shift towards, if you take the first team game in the Premier League, you're seeing a lot more academies aligned to the first team. So when you play different teams, you are actually playing a team practicing to try and play like the first team. Which is, I think, a positive. It's helping players with that. And the other thing is, you can help them prepare for that. So if you know the opposition are going to play a certain way, then your pre-matches or your training leading up to games, you can prepare them slightly more specifically and see how they get on with that, because that will be important one day in first team football. The trade-off of that is they're not all going to be in the first team in the Premier League. So it's trying to give them again the basics to go and have a career in the game, or developing those personal skills as well, those transferable skills, to go on and be successful in whatever they choose to be in life if they're not players. And that's that duty of care piece.
Okay. So now you've been there for a while now, and you're developing, doing a great job, and obviously you're doing a tremendous job. What are your thoughts? Where do you see yourself as far as your personal evolution in terms of your career, whether it be the next 2 years, 5 years? What are your thoughts on that when you kind of just brainstorm on that? What the ambitions? What are your thoughts on that?
I'll be really boring here. I live day by day. I live day by day.
Yeah.
I try to embrace the day,
Mhm.
put myself out there like today,
Yeah.
like now, right?
Yeah.
And see if I can improve in any way. Having been a player and then a coach for so long, nothing's given in sport and in football. So the controllable is the day, and I try to be the best version of myself every single day and be better tomorrow. It's a little bit cliche, right? But be better tomorrow than I am today.
It's all that Ted Lasso you've been watching, man. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
it is, right? Awesome. No, there's nothing boring about it because it's so spot on, so well said, Coach. So now you start looking at when you go back and reflect on your playing career to now what you've learned as a coach, right? As much as you knew how to play, you were a professional, but how much did, when you stepped into the coaching world, really uncover as to how much more, as much as you knew or thought you knew, how much you still had to learn regarding the game?
Yeah, so it's, for me, two completely different things. So playing, and when you're very young, you go out and you play. And coaches create situations where you can learn from that situation, maybe give you ideas, but you play. That's how I always did. I played, left it all out there. And then when you become a coach, you're going, okay, how did I do that? For example, a certain goal. How do I break that down?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the big challenge for ex-players going into coaching. It's having that eye and tools.
Mm-hmm.
Tools. I think that's a big thing. I'm always seeking tools, and there's loads of coaches do it in loads of different ways, and sometimes they might do it without even thinking about it or knowing they do it. But have you got tools to break down the individual action within the context of the game?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more in depth in my thinking as a coach, but it needs to be as simple as possible for the players.
Right.
And that's not always, coaching isn't always about talking, right? It's about putting on sessions that allow them to practice what you want them to practice to improve at it. And I'd say that's probably the biggest thing. You think, I'm a deep thinker anyway. I was as a player,
Mm-hmm.
but it goes.
So it's kind of a natural fit for you as a coach then,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I have a mentor who talks about width and depth. So how wide do you want to go with the knowledge base?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to learn all these things, and then what depth do you want to get out of those things? Like how deep do you want to go?
Right.
And I think that's where having other like-minded people and people to challenge you as well is important around you, and being open and humble to learn.
Yeah.
Very important.
Now, I ask this question a lot of our college coaches. So I'll ask you this. If you could go back, what you've learned now as a coach, right? If you could go back and coach you, the player, like what would you do differently? What would you maybe focus on? Where would you start? Knowing you, the player, and then what you've learned, that knowledge base, right, as a coach.
So maybe, see, for me, because I went through the academy, it was a certain style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly I went into League 2, League 1 in England. It's a much different style of play.
Yeah, I bet.
Running those channels, things like that. So I'd probably seek where are the moments where I could keep the stuff I've learned and add them to the current style of play.
Yeah.
A really good coach head coach I had at a certain team, he understood the style of play that I could play in.
Mm-hmm.
And that got the best out of me because he asked certain players to play with me in a certain way. So me adapting to the game, the playing style, was okay, but forcing like what I want to do on the game, it's hard one to answer really.
Yeah.
Combination stuff in around the box, things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of why I ask it.
Yeah,
right? Because
tricky.
it's a very it's wide and deep.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
So no, That's a good answer, though. I appreciate that. So now I'm going to put you. Well, actually, let's go back to that real quick. You briefly mentioned League Two, League One. When you talk about the pyramid, right? The English FA pyramid. Where would you say the obvious one being? Obviously, it's a huge jump when you get to the Premier League, right? To the Premiership. But where would you say, in your personal opinion, and just when you assess the capabilities and the requirements to play in each league, where would you say is maybe, as you're working your way up that pyramid, where would you say is the biggest leap? Is it League One to the Championship? Is it just that obvious that it's from the Championship to the Premier League?
And I guess you've all been watching Wrexham over here.
Yeah.
So you see how hard it is to get out of that league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the leagues they're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough leagues. And
I personally believe the Championship may be pound for pound, regardless of level, the toughest league. Me personally.
Yeah. A lot of people think that, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing is getting out of the Championship and the other thing is staying in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it would be between that,
Yeah.
getting out of the Championship or staying in the Premier League, because budgets and things like that, and level of player is getting better.
Yeah.
Premier League's getting better.
Yeah. Awesome. So we transition here a little bit, Coach. What do you know? I don't know. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little, but what do you know? Just you look at the game over here, the American game, right? Whether it be the college level, MLS, the youth level. What are your thoughts from what you're aware of, what you've seen? What are your thoughts on the American game?
Yeah. So I've had some tours over here. We went to Florida. We went to Dallas. Did some tours. Played against American teams, good American teams. Players that were physically very good. Good fitness, straight line speed, agility. Saw the game. The games against American teams is very vertical, so we want to, penetrate straight away. Not necessarily a lot of building out from the back. I mean, last time I was here was before COVID.
Yeah. Oh wow!
And things change and evolve in football all the time.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I guess in different states, the playing styles may differ as well, because it's such a big country, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing. Actually, a player that I used to coach at Arsenal, Yunus Musa, plays for the US. Yeah, Yunus.
A lot of buzz about him.
Yeah.
A lot of buzz about him.
And Flo up top.
Yeah. Both of them.
So very good players, and I think there's always a lot of expectation going in to tournaments about the US, and you see the team that you're putting out nowadays as well. You're thinking they could go on and really do something here.
Yeah.
So there's potential there. I see it as a lot of potential.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. It's such a loaded topic, just because obviously in the last Men's World Cup, a lot of people felt like their best, most complete game was against England, right? But I mean, it's just there's so many layers to that onion, even in this country, just because whether you're talking youth, leagues, variations, even high school here, college, which I know doesn't, college sports I know don't exist in England. So, and even that in itself is kind of a topic, just because so many, there's a lot of internationals obviously coming to play college soccer here as well. So I think, we're excited to have you here as well, and so that's where we're going to segue here and tell us a little bit about what you're actually convention registration. You can probably hear some of the ruckus outside, right? Registration's underway right now. So the convention hasn't fully launched yet, but tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing here over the next couple of days.
Yeah, so I'll be doing 2 on-pitch sessions and 1 off-pitch session. Session 1 will be this evening at 7:00. We'll be looking at starting the attack to build up in our half. Yeah. Tomorrow will be a session around creating and finishing the attack. And then the classroom session on tomorrow as well will be around our academy. So showcase some bits from our academy, and it's the same with on pitch. I'm going to give the players an opportunity just to experience some sessions we have done. Yeah. And of course, it takes a while to to play a certain way and a style of play.
Yeah.
But I hope they have fun. That's the main thing.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Speaking of sessions, what is your go-to, Adam Birchall's personal go-to session when say, hey, you can only do one for the rest of your life, right? Or you need to impress. This is for the top job at insert whatever, right? What would that session be? Topic, session, how long?
Well, from a player, if I was a player, I would want to do small-sided games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No
goals.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. I'm actually, although I was a forward in my playing days, I love defending.
Yeah.
I love defending. So
a forward that loves defending.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I've got no knees.
Yeah.
To press the centre back all the time. But yeah, it's maybe something around that.
Yeah.
Defending and that love for defending, that passion, when you're defending around your goal.
Yeah.
I think that's an important skill and art.
It's such I mean, obviously there's a skill to being a great defender, but the quote that always, and I can't remember where I heard it along the way, but that quote that always sticks with me about is, finishing, scoring is about skill, but defending is so much about will, and it's so true. Nothing gets me going more than a really good, just, stuck in defender that just is and plays with no fear, and not playing dirty, obviously, but I love watching that because I feel like that's when you see that's so much, as much as scoring is the most important part of the game, right, to win. I feel like you don't see that too often with defenders, So awesome. So any final thoughts, anything you would like to share with us? We kind of want to wrap up. Give you an open mic. The floor is yours. Anything you'd like to share while you're here with us?
Just thanks for having me. And well, our thing is always put the players first. Put them first.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you. Give us those times that you're set for your sessions today and tomorrow, Coach, again.
Yeah. So 7 p.m. this evening, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and 2 p.m. in the classroom. 2
p.m. tomorrow classroom. Gotcha. Awesome. Well, got one last thing we want you to do. So this may not make for the world's greatest video radio, but we want everybody to go ahead and see. So one of the new customs that we're doing this year, traditions we're doing, so in our big old billboard that we have here, all our guests that join us over the next couple of days, we're going to have them kind of autograph, maybe include a personal message, and we'll be sharing this. We'll actually be, I'm not going to say we're auctioning it off, but this will go home as a prize or part of a foundation or something that TASCO is supporting. So, Coach, if you don't mind, you grab that Sharpie right. You can go ahead and take off your headphones and sign away. Just watch your step there. It's a little tight space here.
Just a signature?
Yeah, whatever you want to put on there. Any message, anything, maybe Liverpool #1, anything like that. So, no? All right, my man. Awesome. Coach, appreciate you again. Thank you for your time. Again, he is Coach Adam Birchall, the head coach of the Arsenal U17 Academy team. Definitely looking forward to your sessions over these next couple of days, and really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thanks, Hector.
And make sure, don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back with some mini sessions. We're calling these mini podcast sessions, right? They won't go very long, but we'll be coming more excited to have tons of great guests over the next couple of days, and just very stoked that we were able to personally. I was stoked that we were able to kick it off with a bang with Adam here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back to you very soon with many more live mini episodes.